My name's Forrest, Forrest Gump.
Forrest is a 38-year-old Caucasian male with an IQ of 75. Forrest was bullied as a child because of his leg braces. He got hit in the head with a rock as a kid and suffered a TBI. He grew up in Greenbow, Alabama. After the passing of his wife, Jenny, Forrest is now a widow and a single father.
Forrest's occupations and roles include running, ping pong, football. He's a veteran of the Vietnam War, where he received a Medal of Honor from Lyndon B. Johnson for getting shot in the buttocks. He's an entrepreneur and started Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. Forrest was one of the first investors in Apple Computers. Forrest has a son with his lifelong love, Jenny.
Forrest has an innocence that gives him an unbiased view of the world. All he wants to prove is that anyone can love and be loved. Some of Forrest's strengths include that he is optimistic, confident, compassionate, a hopeless romantic, determined, and a hard worker. All of these strengths were found in Forrest's ability to start his own business. All of these strengths can be built upon to become a good father as well.
We chose the dynamic interactional model for Forrest because it is not diagnosis-focused. It was based off of the information process model, which compares the human brain's ability to process information like a computer. It focuses on the client's strategies, self-awareness, and external factors. Forrest has some strategies, but they aren't always effective. He will also need to develop strategies for being a father.
Forrest has some degree of self-awareness. A quote from him is, "I may not be a smart man, but I know what love is." He knows he has a low IQ, but doesn't always know what to do about that. Forrest lacks some self-awareness, including about what it takes to be a father besides love. There are many external factors that contribute to being a father that Forrest will have to navigate and develop strategies for.
Joan Toglia developed this model to meet the needs of clients who had a TBI or neurological impairment following a CVA or acquired brain injury. She noticed when working with clients that they struggled to transfer things learned from the rehab setting to other environments like home. She began to notice facilitators or barriers that would impact the client and whether or not they would be able to be successful outside of the rehab setting.
She then began to pay close attention and focus her observation on the person, environment, and occupation, as well as her foundations in learning theory. Development of this model was influenced by cognitive and educational psychology. This was how the DIM was born.
The DIM is a top-down approach, meaning we want to begin with the big picture. We will focus on what that looks like for Forrest's life, and then consider his strengths and barriers. In this model, cognition is understood through the interaction of the person, his environment, and the task. Cognitive dysfunction occurs because of a mismatch between the individual, environment, and task. The goal is to create a just right challenge.
A core concept is the person's cognitive capacity, self-awareness, and strategies. Their ability to use feedback is necessary for improvement. Another concept is the environment, which includes physical, cultural, and social components like a person's values and beliefs and the people they surround themselves with. The last core concept is occupation, which can be used to assess an individual as well as an intervention.
We would interview Forrest about what is going well, what needs improvement, and what strategies he has tried so far. We would want to observe Forrest during an activity with his son. In collaboration, we would identify strengths and barriers to Forrest's performance. Along with this, we would interview Forrest's son.
We would also conduct the Canadian Occupational Performance Measure of Forrest. The COPM measures Forrest's performance and satisfaction in self-care, leisure, and productivity. This is a great tool for helping to remain client-centered and identify Forrest's goals and priorities. After completing the COPM, Forrest identified he wanted to improve his performance and satisfaction in caring for his son.
Factors that are interfering with Forrest's participation as a father include his cognitive ability. Not only is he new to the parenting role, but now he is a single parent. Forrest is forced to take on all the roles of both parents. Another factor is appropriate social interaction. This is shown when Forrest says he needs to pee during the middle of a conversation with the president.
The factors mentioned in the last slide affect Forrest's role as a father because he is unsure of his new role. It will be difficult for Forrest to help with his son with homework, planning meals and activities, initiating discipline, taking care of finances, and providing overall structure, which is very important for kids. Forrest also needs to be able to teach his son proper social interaction, which is something he sometimes struggles with himself.
One goal is that Forrest will be able to help his son with his homework when needing assistance. While observing Forrest doing a homework task with his son, it was clear that this was frustrating for both of them. This is also something Forrest mentioned in the interview and COPM that he would like to work on.
Another goal is that Forrest will develop a routine in order to provide structure within their lives. During our interview with Forrest, he was concerned about his new role as a father and unsure of what a proper routine looks like, such as getting to school on time, preparing meals, bedtime, and making time for fun as well.
Our 3 interventions for Forrest include anticipating, coaching, and a visual schedule. These are all grounded within the DIM using influences from the information processing model, including input of information, elaboration, and output and feedback. Using Forrest's strengths will help us through the intervention process to reach his goals.
Anticipating is another intervention to use with Forrest. This will help Forrest anticipate what he needs to do for his son and what challenges may occur. This will better prepare him, reduce stress created by obstacles that occur during daily routines, like while working on homework. This is a strategy that Forrest could use in numerous areas of his life. This can be reiterated in our next intervention.
We will use coaching with Forrest to help him find outside resources in supporting his son's education. This might include searching the internet for answers when he is unsure, finding a tutor for challenging subjects, working in conjunction with the teachers and school counselor, and having access to a public library. This involves developing Forrest's self-awareness by anticipating potential challenges, processing the situation, understanding his resources, and evaluating his own performance.
Another intervention is a visual schedule, which is an external strategy of processing information. This would provide both Forrest and his son structure and help them manage their time. The schedule would include the morning, after school, and bedtime routine. We would make this schedule in collaboration with Forrest and his son to include activities they both find important and enjoyable.
Bruce and Borg clearly state the theoretical foundations and background history of the DIM as it applies to occupational therapy. An article from the British Journal of Occupational Therapy gave an overview of occupational therapists' role in self-awareness after a TBI. The article gave suggestions on working with this population based off of Toglia's DIM model, like self-checking after completing a task.
And that's all I have to say about